The second Democratic 2019 debate just happened. Holy shit. Why didn't we cover the first 2019 Democratic debate? Don't worry about it. MSNBC and CNN separate the candidates in different ways? Which one was better? This just in, does anyone even care who the winners and losers are? I don't know about you, but we need to talk about this shit. So, we're gonna go through a lightning round of all 20 candidates and how they did and whether or not they're gonna show up at the next bout, the next round. Democratic Debates Night 3. Actually, it's the third Democratic Debates, which for the love of God, I hope doesn't have a Night 1 and a Night 2. So because there was a plethora, an explosion of Democratic candidates the world has never seen. I mean, literally. Even the Republicans back in 2016 were like, okay, we had like 12 of us. There's like 37 of you. What? So because of this giant spread dichotomy, we essentially had MSNBC running the first Democratic debates, and then we had CNN running the second Democratic debates. Now, what's very interesting to note is the very different process in which they used to separate the candidates from Night 1 and Night 2. So we'll start with MSNBC. Now, the way that they had concocted this was they took a private party, a group, an organization that nobody knows who they are. Their names were never released. They were anonymous, but they were handpicked by MSNBC. The way they did this was they separated the candidates into 3 tiers. They took the polls. The highest polling candidates got separated between Night and Night 2. Mid-tier candidates separated again. Night 1 and Night 2, and also the low tiers from the polls, Night 1 and Night 2. MSNBC was like, okay, we've got like 1,500 candidates out here. How do we separate the whole thing and make it fair? This is how they chose to do it. CNN was quite a bit different. CNN did the whole pull the card out of the fishbowl trick. So essentially what they did was they took names out of that hat and they started throwing them into boxes, right? Now here's the thing. You couldn't actually see when they pulled out the card what was written on that card because whoever was pulling them out could also see it. So what does that mean? CNN put those names into that hat, into those separate boxes, from the hat into those separate boxes. But how do we actually know what names went into what box? CNN also gets to keep their unanimous selection private. Why? Again, we couldn't see the cards. Only they knew what the cards were. Only after it was revealed. But really, do we really know? It's very interesting, because as different as MSNBC and CNN are, and as intelligent and as much money that is behind them, they could not figure out how to create a system that would be 100% devoid of corruption. Something to think about going into these next debates, especially the third one. Alright, so the biggest thing out of Night 1. Was everyone trying to figure out the golden question. You got Sanders, you got Warren. Are they carbon copies of each other, or are they very different? Everyone loves them. No one knows why. Okay, everyone does know why. They're the progressives, baby. They're the cool hip guys. They're the old white guy and old white lady trick. Oh, it's fantastic. They're so amazing. They care about their grandchildren. Oh, come on. I care about my grandchildren, too. Shh. So, of course, everyone was wondering what was going to happen between these two. Were they going to attack each other? Were they going to team up in a Royal Rumble-esque type fashion? You know, it's kind of the whole idea. Knock everybody out first, and then when you're the last two, hey, at least it was one of us, and at least we knew that those other assholes never had a chance. Now, it's very interesting to notice that everybody else on that stage knew this, and the moderators knew it too. Jake Tapper? Smart, cunning guy. So literally every question that was formulated was for the rest of the people on stage to go attacking and swinging at Sanders and Warren. What did you think they did? One grabbed a chair and the other one grabbed a brick. In amazing progressive-like fashion, Warren and Sanders did team up. The entire night, not a single attack between the one of them. And they just kept swinging and fighting the whole mountain off, standing on top, reigning supreme because they have the golden light to bring it to the next level. Biden, Harris, welcome to the third debate. Alright, so let's get through this list. So first off the bat, we got Stephen Bullock. Nobody knows exactly who the hell he is. He actually turns out to be a George Washington University law professor. Clearly I didn't read up on this. There's a reason why I didn't read up on it. Nobody gives a shit. He wasn't in the first debates. He somehow shows up magically in round 2. What, did he get furloughed? What, did he get the wild card pick where he doesn't have to show up in round 1 but he gets thrown into the lightning round? What's going on? The only thing everyone does know is that he's basically a carbon copy of John Delaney. I mean, he's a law professor who started his own private law firm. I'm not saying he's corporate money, but definitely didn't grow up next to me. That's right, I'm poor. Why do you think I'm doing this? Now, I will say that Buttigieg has an edge. Thank you. I will say that he does over Beto O'Rourke because of the fact that, you know what? Buttigieg never really ran on the concept that he was gay. And yet, Beto loved to tell everyone that he knows how to speak broken Spanish. Wait, you didn't have an abuela in your attic? That could have just helped you a little, brush it up a little bit? It's not hola español, it's hola español. Okay, I'm not saying I do a better job. I'm just saying Buttigieg, on the other hand, was a lot more fascinating. He was an individual who basically advocated for a private healthcare option as well as a public healthcare option. Now, what was very interesting was that when there were other people who also advocated for those ideals, they got silenced, they got crickets. I mean, we're talking about people like Steve Bullock, he talked about it. John Delaney, he talked about it. John Hickenlooper, he talked about it. Amy Klobuchar, and the list goes on. The whole point was that they all got crickets and silence. But Buttigieg got standing applauses and ovations. DNC, you cunning son of a bitch. Because, they're the both young, hip guys who are running for political office, and clearly, yeah. O'Rourke, buddy, hang up the towel, alright? You lost, and you decided to stay out of Congress because you were going to run for it, you could have won it, and you let it go because you had bigger ideals. Now you're playing for the long-term card. Buddy, I seriously hope you know what you're doing, because right now you're faking deaf. Tim Ryan came on very strong. I love his energy. He's like the frat boy president, right? Who graduated but still visits his alma mater once a year to give a speech or something, just to make himself still feel like there was a reason why he got the carrot stick up his ass, because the whole thing with rushing, and I don't know, something about drinking 8 eggs because for some reason it's high in protein, yet at the same time they want you to shove a cork up your ass so you can't shit for a week, that kind of rushing. But Ryan's fatal mistake was he came at Sanders. Sanders tried to explain that Medicare for All, were it to be enacted, would expand what Medicare already is right now. And then Bernie began to list a bunch of added agendas to that list. Ryan came back at him and said, how do you know that? There's, you don't know that. And then Bernie said, yeah, I wrote the damn bill, dumbass. How are you gonna come at me right now? Clearly you didn't do any research on the subject, because I just literally smashed you over the head with that chair I was carrying earlier. John Hickenlooper, I think, might have been perhaps one of the most fascinating individuals of the night. Not saying that he has a chance. His career, he's done. He's done. He's not moving on. I'm calling it right now. But the interesting thing about Hickenlooper is that, he says he's a scientist. He runs off of that platform. He mentioned it at least twice, if not 3 times, during the first Democratic debates. So he wanted everyone to realize that he's the expert on climate change, because he's a scientist. Marianne Williamson is adorable. Love her. Total soccer mom. Total hippie. I totally get it, man. If we lived in John Lennon's world, where Imagine No Religion, that song, if we lived in that world, I'd be in love with this woman. But we don't live in that world. It's okay to be a hippie and praise love, but you gotta know how to fight. Which then now brings us very nicely to Warren and Sanders, the most feistiest dynamic duo since Batman and Robin. Or perhaps the ambiguously gay duo on Saturday Night Live. So immediately Tapper comes out the gate, starts talking about, universal health care, what's going on with the border. I mean, it's very understandable. So in pure wrestling Spanx action, Warren and Bernie teamed up. It was literally the entire lineup versus the two of them. They more or less aligned eye to eye on literally every single issue. No surprise there. Duh! I forgot we didn't even talk about Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar is like the version of Hillary Clinton back in 2016. Like, that's the version that we wanted. We didn't want this, like, like that egomaniacal, like, crazy laugh. Like, we just wanted, like, a plain, simple white lady that was very nice and very sweet, but also, she was gonna be, center left or whatever, right? That's how they all are. If Klobuchar had been there fighting against Trump, who knows what would have happened? But we're not in that time frame, are we? We're not in that dimension. What am I talking about? Don't worry about it. Steve Bullock, you're done! Pete Buttigieg, alright, you can stick around for a little while. And you are kinda cute. John Delaney, the hell's wrong with you? You're literally a Republican running in a Democratic debate. Good luck, buddy. Beto O'Rourke, the cool, calm Obama impression that you clearly can't pull off as well as Obama. We're kinda done there. Really, the reason why I didn't really talk too much about the other candidates is because really tonight it was all about Bernie and Warren. So the tag team effort led by these two individuals essentially is this. Everybody on stage was attacking Sanders for his Medicare for All plan, which would eliminate private health care, ban it, and make it illegal. What a lot of people don't talk about is that that's not exactly true. Also, what's very strange is why Sanders doesn't really talk about it, which makes it even more strange. Sanders does want Medicare for all. He does want private insurance to be eliminated and to be illegal. However, he does still allow the concept of supplemental insurance. So essentially the whole idea is like, hey, if you're some rich, fancy schmancy dude and you don't want the regular insurance of the people, you can buy additional health care for, a premium price. But when you're rich, you're gonna do it. And then Warren comes out and also tag teams with Bernie, gets tagged in with the brick, and then she throws the brick at the corporations, throws the brick at everyone else, and basically says, okay, look, the healthcare industry is broken and corrupt, the pharmaceutical industry is broken and corrupt. Tag team, Bernie!
And the fossil fuel, and the banks, and the Republicans, and global warming, and climate change, and the industrial military complex.
And then Warren gets tagged in, and Warren's like, holy shit, pace yourself, Bernie, fuck. At least you and I are not going after each other yet. Jesus. So, undoubtedly so, they did the greatest of the night. Now, if you want to get my take on who did the best and who did the second best, it's like, dude, I'm not even gonna get into it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure everybody wants Bernie to win, but if Bernie doesn't win and it's Warren, everyone's gonna be still more or less just as happy. They're like, well, screw it. It's not Trump and it's not Hillary. We'll take it.